All right, so here we are back in our QuickBooks, and we're going to look at some more ways that we can use our lists. And we're going to look at using our lists and adding entries. Now, when you're adding entries, and we're going to look at our customers, our expenses, and our workers, these areas are exactly the same. Remember, this is our customers section. We're going to come in, and we're going to add a new customer. So if we come in and click on new customer, we can easily add it here. And we can also import multiple customers. So when we click on new customer, we can add them just as a first name. So if it's just John Smith over here, getting really creative, or let's say Smith and Sons is the name of the company, we can add either the first name or both the first name and the company. Now we have the option as well to choose how we actually want to see this. Do we want the last name first, the first name first, or the name of the company? So it gives you a lot of options. Then we save it, and our information is there for us to use. Now you'll see that John Smith is already in here. Now what do? Well, right here on my display name is the reason why it is not letting me add this. I could change this to Smith and Sons, and it will allow me to save this file. Now this occurs also when you have a customer, and let's say that our customer who is Cool Cars, we found a really nice car over at Cool Cars, and you can see Cool Cars is a customer, but we've decided to buy this vehicle. So guess what? According to our rules, this vendor, this customer is now a vendor, right? Because they're going to be, it's money we're sending out. It's money going out. So we have to create this vendor file. And let's do that. Let's go ahead and let's just put Cool Cars in here. And you'll see the display name now. This is the same thing that we saw with the John Smith. We try and save it. Guess what happens? It says, sorry, you can't do this because you can only use this name once. It's an identifier that QuickBooks uses, so you can only use it once. So if I place a -V after this Cool Cars in the display name, which is never going to appear to my vendor, it's just for my information, then I can add this. So sorry, let me put vendor in here. Now, once you've added these, and you can see that's how you add to your names list. But let's say that I want to add to my chart of accounts. Coming over to this gear, all lists are a little bit different. So here's our chart of accounts. Here's our products and services. Here's our terms. Let's go ahead and look at our terms. So we've got a net 60, a net 30, a 15, even a net 12. To add a new, we're going to come in here and go ahead and just add net 90. So we're going to give 90 days on some of our products, some of our customers. We're going to go ahead and save that. Very easy to add your information. You're always going to look for that new up in the right-hand corner. It's always in the same place. That is the beauty of QuickBooks. Now there's one other feature that QuickBooks gives you when you're adding something. So any list, whether it's your chart of accounts, whether it is a term or a customer, QuickBooks lets you do what's known as a quick add. So right now what we're doing is we're bringing up our invoice. And we're going to bring in this customer, and her name is Mary Bird, and she is not in the system. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add. Now when I do, it comes up with two different options for me. Now if I save this, which looks like what I should do, right? When I save this, all it will have is the name. If I want to add in her address and her payment terms and all of the additional information, then I'm going to go ahead and click on Details. Now I can add my pertinent information and go ahead and save and close this. And we will be looking at all of these areas when we come into our customer section so that you know exactly what information you can save for your customer. Products and services. Let's say that we are selling paper clips now. And so I come in and I type in a paper clip. And I click on Add. These are going to pop up and it's going to give me my options. So this is a service. So we paper clip things for people. I can go ahead and add that information now and get started really quickly. That's usually what happens. You see that you missed putting it in. You need to add it right away. A quick add is a great way to do that. And we're going to go ahead and say, let's not save this. Now, in some cases, we may need to edit information. So we look on here and we see that this customer, Cool Cars, is one that we are actually working with, but we want to change that so that it says -C. So we want to know what's the customer file, what's the vendor file. So if we're doing something like a check, it's very easy for us to identify it. I can come in here, change my display name, and just put in customer or a C, whichever you'd like to do, and go ahead and add that. Very easy to edit information. I can edit addresses. Maybe I have that information to change. And the same thing over here when we're working with all lists. We're going to go to these payment terms and we notice over here that it says net 12 and it should say net 10. I'm going to come over to this pull down, click on my edit. Guess what I can do? I can edit my information very easily. Right? So very easy to edit your information. Go ahead and save and close that. Next, we'll be looking at deleting entries and how that works. So move on to the next lesson and we'll be looking at deleting entries with and without balances in QuickBooks.